What's up, beautiful people? Welcome. I'm Jack, the Twisted Wonder, and today I'm joined by my brother, the Full Data Alchemist. What's up, Tom?
What's up, Jack? Thanks for having me. It's been a crazy day, but it's been going good. How are you?
Good, just had work, had therapy, cried a little, and
Nice.
now having this podcast. So I'm ready. I feel good.
Crying's good. Crying relieves and lets you touch your emotions, which is good. You gotta cry. Crying's okay. Don't be like
Crying
those
is
people.
okay.
You're a man, you can't cry. Dude, cry. It's okay, man. I'll hold you.
Cry.
It's okay. I'll cry. You can
Facts.
cry.
I'm renaming myself because I don't like this.
You're like, what?
My name. I'm renaming myself as we're here.
Oh,
Um,
I'm always on his full data because that's my online alias.
yeah. But it's true. It's true. You should always have a good cry. Um, well, kind of just jump right in. What are we talking about today, Tom? It's pretty cool. I'm excited. We're talking
Yeah, I'm
about
excited too. So, well, was this in
bowling.
Tennessee, right?
Yeah, we were in Tennessee, my brother and I, and we got together with the family. Was that 2 weeks ago already?
I think so. About no.
Holy shit.
Yes, it was. Jeez Louise. Holy cripe monkeys.
Oh shit, yeah. So yeah, we were in Tennessee together and we decided we should do a podcast together. So
Yeah.
here we are.
So here we are. Yeah. So I think what was the question? We were gonna discuss how cybersecurity and tech work together with scoliosis patients. I thought
Yeah.
that was a really cool topic. It kind of brings in both worlds and the tech in just healthcare in general is getting insane. And
Yeah, it is.
everything in general is just like interconnected. Like everything's connected somewhere to the internet, which is considered the Internet of Things. So everything's connected. Your watch, your wearable, your monitors, your TV, your fucking plugs, your outlets are connected to the internet. It's just
Oh,
crazy. Everything and anything is connected to the internet these days, which just makes securing things a hell of a
harder.
lot harder.
Yeah. Which is pretty much, well, that's your expertise, right?
But yeah, I'm good at I do cybersecurity, but I'm great at theory. I don't do a lot of practical cybersecurity, like the sexy side of security, which is like hacking. Let me king. So I don't really do any of that stuff. I do more of the security. I do like security risk assessments, compliance, and things like that. A lot of identity access management and crap like that. So I don't do the sexy side. I'm learning the sexy side, and it's fun, but I don't really do it on a daily basis.
Gotcha, gotcha. So in other words, how I'm trying to comprehend this, you're saying sexy, right?
Yeah, sexy. Like
Okay,
yeah,
I'm making sure the sexy side of security. So is that like the part where so you read about it a lot, you know how it works, but your job functions in something. Is that what
I
you're
do something
saying?
different. Yeah, like right now I'm
Okay.
studying things for like hack the box, which is actually hands-on keyboard attacking different servers, trying to steal their information, conceal yourself while you're doing it. I've done it in the past, and I've studied for it, but I've never actually had any areas where I've actually done it. So I'm great at theory. I'm not great at practicality and cybersecurity, which is fine. I'm not trying to be.
You don't need to. Yeah.
I don't need to be. My job set's never actually been that. I would like to get into that more, but I'm not trying to become like some elite hacker. I just want to be able to know how to do it, like have the skill sets, and if anything ever does lead up to like an opportunity to be able to do something in that area, I can. So that's all I'm looking for.
All right.
But that's what I'm trying to do. But yeah, cybersecurity is fun.
That's pretty cool. How do you, what you've researched and stuff, what did you find like, I don't know, what did you find with scoliosis and patients and protecting, I guess, their privacy pretty much, right?
Yeah.
When they
I
go
mean
in to
anything.
see surgeries.
Yeah, I mean anything healthcare. I mean, I work in healthcare, so our biggest thing is making sure like I work in healthcare for a big um health system in New York. And our biggest thing, I work in revenue cycle. That's making sure that financial data, patient data, and is only supposed to be viewed and accessed at any given point in time by the people who are supposed to have access to it and no one else. And anything in security, you want least privilege. That means you're getting the amount of access to do your job and nothing else. If you need more, you can request it with a justification of how come you need that access. And if it's okay, your manager okays it, then yes, we'll go ahead and give you that access. Very
Huh.
pretty simple way of explaining what I do on a daily basis. That's just one of the things we do. But inside of like and outside of that, when it comes to what I found really interesting in what they're doing in scoliosis, maybe other patients as well, is that they, you have wearables and smart implants, which I thought was really cool. So you had
What?
your yeah, smart implants. So you had a rod put in your like a steel or metal, well, I guess a
It's
steel rod.
titanium,
Hey,
Thomas.
sorry, all right,
I'm just
titanium
kidding.
rod in your back, right? To help keep your back
Yes.
your spine
Get
straight.
it straight. Yep.
So now they actually have, I was researching this, and they actually have medical devices that are titanium rods that go in, and as they monitor you, it's connected to it has a wireless device in the titanium rod that's connected to you. So if your spine starts to shift or whatnot, they can shift the titanium rod with it, which I thought was fucking mind-boggling because that's
Wait,
crazy.
while it's inside of
Yeah,
you?
while it's inside you, they can make adjustments. They can help make adjustments.
I don't know how I feel about that. From being
Yeah,
an
I mean, it's
actual
not, obviously
spinal fusion patient, I'm like, am I just gonna feel
it's
this
not making a
adjusting
90-degree
inside
freaking
of me?
angle. I mean, it's not like making a 90-degree change, but like if your spine is adjusting just enough, right? They have to just
Yeah.
like adjust with it. And there's probably something
Wow.
that they'll reach
That is
out to you,
very
like,
cool.
hey, we're seeing that there needs to be adjustments to be made. If you want to come in, we can work with you on it. I don't think they do it on the
Wow.
fly, but they'll bring you into the office and do like whatever adjustments need to do. But you have to think about these because this is all wireless communication. This is, I live 45 minutes away from my doctor, and he's able to see where my spine is at any given point in time. If he notices something that's changing he doesn't like, he's going to call me in for possible adjustments and whatnot.
Instead of having to remind yourself, like me, my
Yes.
last checkup was 2 years ago. So now I
Right.
started reaching out to my doctor again, like, hey, I want another MRI just to make sure things are good. You're telling me that this technology can monitor that for you, like how pacemakers and
Yeah.
other things
Pretty
like
much.
that
Yep.
for hearts can, like, wow.
Yeah. Mind blowing. I thought you'd find that cool because
Yeah,
how
it
many
did
years ago
not, that
was
did
it?
not come up. Yeah, research like the different procedures, but I guess I did not stumble upon this one. That is
Well, I didn't.
like,
Yeah, I think you did the other side. You did like the health side of like what a scoliosis patient has for treatments these days in terms of like procedures and
yeah, that's
aftercare and
what
everything
I
like
did.
that.
Oh, yeah.
So I was looking at it from, well, okay, now you're going in to get as a patient for scoliosis. Obviously, you're going to have an EHR or electronic health record,
Right.
and that needs to be protected. You're going to be put underneath some type of HIPAA glass door so that if or HIPAA wall that if you not your record has to be protected, and only people who need to access your record should be accessing your record. There's telemedicine now, and there's
Yeah.
secure apps. There's just so many different things that are
That's
happening.
how I'm doing my checkups, actually, which is
Is
nice because I
Yeah, it's
don't
not.
I don't want to find a new doctor in the Tampa area and like tell them my entire history and then have to wait. So it was nice to have that option to be
Yeah,
able
but
to telehealth.
you were at Catholic Health, right? You went for your surgery.
Yeah, that's
Where
where
was
my
it? Was that
surgery
Good
was.
Sam? Was that where it
Yep.
was?
Yep. Good Sam
So
with doctors everywhere.
if you find a Tampa place, because a lot of hospitals down in Florida that use Epic, and because Epic is across 70% of the states of America, you'll be able to they'll be able to look up your records right away and see everything. Like, oh, okay, this is what's going on, and be in constant communication with your primary up in New York, your actual doctor who you worked. So if you need to see someone down here, they can. If you're going to Epic location, they can pull up your electronic health record and see everything that's happened and pull back everything in one shot. That's their care everywhere.
I guess I forget we're in 2024 and can do that. And I guess we just think like, I don't want to go to a new doctor that's here because I'll have to tell them all this shit.
No, and that's
But
fine.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's
But
cool.
wait, so the question I have about this and you saying like, when you need more information and you decide if that's like applicable at that time and like why do you need it? How is this going to affect patients? Like, like how is this going to affect people? Like, can you be hacked?
Of course, if you don't
Like
take
in
proper
your spine, can
precautions,
you be hacked? Like, you know what I mean? We're talking about something that monitors you.
yes.
Like that's
Well,
like
let's
I'm
before we
going crazy.
fearmonger
I'm like, oh wait.
before we fearmonger,
Yeah,
let's actually
sorry.
talk about the risks actually
That's
that's going to be
true.
behind that.
I suffer
let's
from anxiety. I'm so sorry to put you all through that.
no, let's
And
just
I,
be let's be realistic. If you are a person who's walking around with a medical device in your body, hackers probably aren't going after you. You
yeah,
aren't
that's
going to
true.
provide much of a ROI for them unless it's some douchebag on the street in a white van who wants to fuck around and
Yeah.
toy with
Oh,
somebody.
shit.
But even then, that is small,
Small chances.
small. You're gonna find hackers probably if there is something like that can go after bigger targets, because they're gonna try and cause some like a political agenda or some other nonsense like that. Which again, it's just probably more of like hacker reading, like cool
Yeah,
reading, like fantasy readings. But I don't think things like this would actually be happening in
actually
real world.
happened.
It's
I think
good
I
to
watched too much Criminal
know the
Minds.
risks. It's good to know the risks,
Where I went.
but the you have to think I'm gonna have this spot. I'm gonna have this titanium rod on me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
What other chances for the rest of my life that someone's going to target me to hack my spine and cause me more? Unless you have a freaking enemy that you made in
Yeah,
your
like a
life that learned how to
serious.
hack just to fuck with you, then yeah, maybe. But the chances are
I don't
probably
think anyone hates me
much
that
less
much,
than
so
1%.
that's so funny. But it's really,
So
really cool after you get through like, my like silly, like out there adventurous anxiety things that I like to think of. Because that was like, you threw me out of left field with this research. Like
yeah, I was
that's
like, oh shit. I was like,
really,
that's pretty freaking cool.
so
So
I'm so sorry for my
no, it's
listeners,
okay. You have to
but
think
I'm
it's
not
the
mean
risks.
to fear
No, you're
anybody, but
fine.
it
The
is
risks are
very, very
small.
cool.
The risks are cool.
Um,
And it's like anything else. And when that comes into play, when it comes down to security, security's best practices, if you have an update, update. If there's a firmware update, which is like usually like something on a piece of hardware, it's like a BIOS that needs to be updated, update it. If it's a patch, patch it. Because the things when you're not updating or patching correctly, you're leaving yourself wide open to be hacked.
yeah, so
Um,
true.
and then there's also for all the data and IT nerds out there, there's network segmentation. So you have the Internet of Things, which is like, could be your Internet of Thing, which is your titanium rod, which has a
Mhm.
Wi-Fi connector, which is a thing on the internet. So that should be
Ah,
separated in a different network segment. So you might have your EHR on one big network, and then you have your the way you collect payments on another big network. Because you should never have in a network like that. You should never have your billing payment information going across the same network as your patient information. It needs to be set up differently, protected
separate.
differently. It has to be just a whole nother regulation that happens of PCI, the payment card industry, you have to follow regulations on that. It has to be encrypted. It has to be in a whole separate network. So those usually kept separate. And then usually when you have medical devices, whether it be like if you're doing heart surgery with the robot arm, that's usually on its own network too and segmented out from other things. So if a hacker does get into the main EHR, he can't fuck around and do things while the doctor's performing some triple bypass somewhere that needs that robot
Yeah.
arm. So you usually
So
separate
cool to
everything like
think
that.
about.
Yeah, it's very cool. So these networks get really big and complex. And as you start doing that, you have to think about what does a hospital network really look like? It's massive, huge, and so many ins of out, so many or ingress and egress of how things are getting in and out. And each area or endpoint or device, there's a different network, potentially a different network for each one, because you want to keep them segmented. So if a Windows server over here has some issue going on, we don't want this Linux server over here potentially possible be able to the hacker be able to hop over to it. They're completely separated from each other.
Well, that's good because I feel like at least if you get in, you're not getting everything. You still have a whole like bunch
Yeah,
of
you still have
shit to
other
go
areas to get
through.
through. So it's
And
very cool. I found that very neat.
I find that I find that like I'm just gonna go off on like a rabbit hole and research that after this
I thought it was neat.
because that is just really, really, I don't know. I guess I have a different viewpoint from it because I have that in me. So now I'm thinking like, wow, I guess if I take the fear side out of it, it could be so beneficial because, I'm sure there's a lot of us out there who put ourselves second and don't always, a lot of us have surgery and just go about our merry lives, but that's not really like, you need to be implementing scoliosis corrective exercises for the rest of your life. This surgery doesn't just, it's not the end all be all, it doesn't just magically fix scoliosis. So I think this is another benefit for a lot of patients to be easier to take care of themselves and have that like extra help that some of us may need to keep track of our disabilities and shit like that. So very fucking cool.
No, that is cool.
That's pretty fucking cool. I like it.
So what did you research? Like, what were you looking into for
So I
scoliosis?
like you did like such a good like dive. You speak so nicely. Um, the one that I've been researching, there's a few of them, but I didn't get to pinpoint the one that I want to. It's the one with the clips that I thought was really, really cool. And I think it's called VBT. So let me just, which is pretty much like they're able to correct you, but not with a titanium spine. They're able to do it with it's not typing it. They're able to do it with like feathering clips on each side to make it
Feathering clips?
like hold on, I could be saying the wrong thing. If anyone's
Oh, I'm
listening.
just trying to understand like the clips. So they clip it to like your spine to help keep your
Yeah,
bone
like on
stationary.
each end. I wish I could let's see, I need a picture of it because I can't. I want to see a picture. But yeah, and able for it to be less invasive, they use okay. So it's a surgical procedure that uses a flexible cord and anchors to treat scoliosis in children who are still growing.
Oh,
So
oh,
yeah, so it was just approved in 2019, which was only 3 years after my spinal fusion surgery.
wow.
But I wouldn't have been a candidate because I was 25 at my spinal
Hmm.
fusion surgery. So what this can do, and another option for people who, kids who have severe curvatures of the spine, but they're not done growing, because that's like the key thing is, yes, you have a curvature, but we also don't want to stunt your growth.
Right.
This actually helps to, like, I guess, grow with you. Because if you think about just having one solid rod, it's just kind of stunts your growth. But this is able to, I guess, grow with you and in sense doesn't stunt the growth. And you're able to, get a spinal fusion. Like a lot of the women that I speak to, they had theirs at 11 years old. Like the last person I just talked to had a 105-degree curvature,
Oh my
the
goodness.
age of 11. So she's 32 now, but thinking back, if she had this, or if like other kids had this at that time, it would, it's crazy. It would just change your life. It's pretty cool. I think
That's
like
pretty
just
neat.
because there's more options for pediatric patients now, because it is
Yeah,
very scary to get that diagnosis with a large curve and knowing like, hey, this is it. Like your spine is just gonna, stay in this place now. So
that's
this,
crazy.
yeah, this is
I
really
like
cool.
that. That's actually really neat. So it's so just I'm just trying to play in my head. So it's actually clips that go on either side of your spine. And I guess as your spine grows, the clips kind of move with it to help
Yeah.
keep it straightened. And then
Mhm.
eventually you can do a spinal fusion surgery
So
at a
that's
later age. Like, is that
so
what they
that
would move
I
towards?
that's what I think can happen. I didn't get to I kind of wanted to Google that. That's a really good question. Um, well, I think so. Unless, it does its job and it does. Now I want to know more. Hold
Yeah,
on.
I'm interested in that because that's I mean, for kids, it's anything with kids is just always horrible. It's like why are we choosing kids to have a disability like this? But as is life,
Yeah.
someone might just be affected by that, and having the ability to treat them at their age, they can grow
For
up
their
as
age.
yeah, for
Yeah.
their age, which is amazing, and actually have them give them the ability to have a life that they can enjoy and not be stunted and go through the freaking horrible being picked on because some of kids growing up in high
Yeah,
school are
no,
just
they do.
assholes.
It sucks. The woman that I spoke to recently, she was bullied a lot. She had to wear a brace pretty much because she had her spinal fusion so young that back in the day when she had it, back in the day, like she's my age, literally 1 year younger. But with that, like she had it at 11 years old. So the brace back then that you needed to like be in was just completely up to your neck and not able to move.
Oh
And
wow,
she dealt with a lot of bullying and things like that. So it's
bullying
nice.
sucks.
It does. And it's nice that, it's nice that we'll have that option for anyone who's being bullied because of your beautifully curved spine.
Hmm.
Fuck those people. Sorry.
I
Because
agree.
you're beautiful and no one can tell you otherwise. That's all
No,
I'm
that's
gonna
true.
say.
I love you
Bullies
for who
are,
you are. Bullies are
yeah,
jerks.
exactly. So did you Google it? I'm Googling it
Oh no, I didn't Google it. No, I'm sorry.
now. BF, but
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I was
no, you're good. Do you need final fusion after? I don't think so. I think the
my
whole
light
point
is
of it.
killing me. Oh
Your
gosh, I'm trying to
light.
find. Yeah,
I know.
it's
I
like
don't even
so
have
bright in my
mine on
face.
because it stares at the face, and I wasn't in the mood for it.
Oh gosh, I think that one might be better. Not so bright, but it gives me like a yellow tint. But I think I need it because my eyes are like,
Oh, sorry, Tom. So wait. So with this, so with VBT or vertebral body tethering, that's what this is called.
oh,
It allows for greater spine mobility and flexibility. So pretty much I've been fused into solid bone.
okay.
So for anyone having this, they wouldn't be fused into solid bone. They'll have more mobility and flexibility. Whereas like someone with the spinal fusion like myself, we can't really bend forward anymore.
Mhm.
And like, sideways is
Yeah,
a
so it's a
little
little
weird
hard to
because you
see.
can't really.
And you don't
So
have that
this is
flexibility. Like, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
this is
yeah.
really
Okay.
cool that it kind of just looks like it moves with you, it grows with you, and that's really exciting just for even older patients, older women who need it, men who need it in their 30s. This looks like something that can just be a little bit less traumatic on your spine.
Mhm.
So
There's
that's really
options, which is
cool.
awesome. That's always important.
Yeah.
Having options for surgery is always important. The surgery, I don't care how small surgery is. Surgery is a big fucking deal.
Yeah. Like your knee surgery.
That was a big deal. I was out
That
for
was
like
fucking
it
wild.
was wow. I had a growth on my knee about that big, seriously, and it started ripping apart my tendon. So they had to shave it down. And then what? I was recovery for quite a
A
while, but
while.
I got infected. It wasn't healing correctly, and it was just for literally they made the smallest incision on my knee, 6 inches, maybe not
Yeah,
even, to shave down an extra growth in my bone. I got which my body reacted to an injury and thought that I guess something happened, and it actually grew
happens.
another bone.
That was wild. I can't
Wow,
believe that.
the body's crazy. The
Our
body's
body
absolutely
is
the human
always
body is
protecting
nuts.
ourselves from
Yeah.
trauma, even when we don't want it.
Yeah. So it's like and it was probably from doing tap out. I landed a knee the wrong way when I was doing
Yes,
stuff.
you
But now I'm
were.
very careful the way I do my knee stuff. I modify a lot of different things when I do tap out because I don't want that again. But yeah, I don't care, oh no, it's not a big deal. No, I don't care if it's a gallbladder removal. I don't care if it's knee surgery. You're getting
Anything.
rhinoplasty. It does not matter. Surgery is a big deal.
It
So
is.
think, just always
Get multiple
review
opinions,
multiple opinions,
review
review what you're
things.
doing because it's a big deal. I don't care what anyone says. I wish I got a second opinion about my knee. I just jumped into it and said, oh, it's an easy fix.
You didn't get
So
second
no,
opinions
I
for
didn't
your
get second.
knee.
I was that guy. Ah, it's
I
gonna be
didn't
an easy
know
fix.
that.
And
Where
then
was I? I should have
no,
yelled at you.
you probably should have yelled at me.
I think
Like,
I
what are you
probably
doing,
did yell.
Tom? No, I don't think anyone yelled at me. I just got
Wow,
actually
I didn't know you
Liz
didn't
might have
get a
said
second
something.
opinion.
No, Liz didn't say anything actually, because she wanted to be fixed. I was in so much pain. I couldn't run
I
anymore.
guess sometimes, I guess what I'm learning from this and is even if it's a knee surgery, let's get second opinions. No surgery is small because our bodies are complex and we
Very
don't
complex.
a lot of things. So lots of stuff. So definitely
Yeah,
double check. But
always.
you're
But your
good
body,
now.
yeah, I'm
You
good
have
now.
still
But
have
it took
pain.
me,
Took
I
you a
have pain every now
while.
and then. But it took me like 3 years to fully, and it was a literally, but it took me almost, yeah, 3 full years to my knee to fully recover. So there's no surgery is small, ever.
Nope.
Everyone's body reacts differently to it.
Facts. But speaking of surgery, so there's a lot that I didn't get to go through, but for anybody listening, I just want to list them off. So, and I'll just like read what they are. Um, so there's an apex AP-Fix system.
A what and who?
It's it's designed to correct moderate scoliosis, particularly single curves. So I guess for anyone out there who doesn't have, I think this would more relate to people with a lumbar curve only, because a lot of people who have, like mine, I had a thoracic curve, so like mid spine, and I had a lumbar curve spine. So for me, I wouldn't have been considered for this surgery. It's apparently less complex than traditional spinal surgery, and you can keep more flexibility. But how? I want to know how.
That's interesting.
It seems like they have a lot. They have one for like it's looking to me that they've actually gone ahead and um what's the word for that? It's like compartmentalized or boxed. Like I feel like back in the day, surgery was just like you had scoliosis, one surgery fixes all things.
Oh yeah, it was a one size fits all.
Right. So now we're looking at this one. It's, I can't pronounce it. API Fix system. It's an Israeli developed system, and it looks like it's only to correct moderate. So for people with one curve. So I guess it kind of looks like
Oh
what I'm seeing is they only actually have to operate on one side. You only have equipment on one side.
wow. So they really
Yeah.
advanced themselves where it's like, all right, we can't do one size fits all anymore because it's probably causing more issues than not with the one size fits all approach. So now they're looking for customized approaches for specific ways of actually making for people with scoliosis.
Yeah. And it
That's
looks
actually
like
pretty. That's great. That's awesome. Actually, I like that.
it's really cool.
I,
It
I'm
looks like
telling.
it's one solid thing, but at least it's like not your full spine.
Right, I thought your whole spine. It's where it needs to bend. So if it's at the bottom, it's at the lumbar. Is the mid, it's the mid, and whatever the top is the top, I guess. Is
Yeah.
that what I'm understanding? That's cool.
So if I was like curved from my, say if I have a left lumbar curvature, so my spine goes to the left. So from L1 to L2, I'm curved really severely. Then that equipment is only going to go in those places and straighten it
Wow.
out. So now like there's no equipment on the other side. The other thing I think about that I just learned about is like how those vertebrae though heal over time, and how you need to pay more attention to take care of the one that isn't fused. So it's equal strength with the other.
Right. I
That's
got you.
just something I think about. But
Okay.
then there's robotic, and then they actually have like
Aquatic.
laparoscopic now, like for some. So there's a lot. So main thing I'm going to say here is do your research, because they have so many options.
Right. But I guess also your doctor is going to work with you to figure out what's the best approach for
Yes.
you. Besides just saying, yeah, let's do a spinal fusion when you could have like, the flexibility one that we discussed earlier, or this apex, whatever it's called.
Yeah. They're it's cool. It's nice to know that people have options, that there's not a one size fits all anymore, because it's been cool to see it. I'm like, it's also like, I guess like I'm sure anybody who's had past surgeries and things that have happened, like you're like, damn, why wasn't this around when I had
Yeah.
it
No, I hear that. Yep.
yet?
For
So
sure. Especially major surgery, especially like, oh geez, how come it wasn't that? I bet that wasn't invented 10 years ago when I had my surgery. But yeah.
right. So, but that's like, I think that's the biggest thing we have to learn with surgery, is just accepting the innovations that were done at your time and appreciating the new ones. Because a lot of times in our realm, I don't know how it is for you. Had a whole, what was your surgery called?
I have
A
no idea.
knee, of like a full, did you have full knee replacement? No, right?
No, I didn't have.
It was
I
like,
literally
okay,
I really had a
a
bone
growth.
shaved
Okay,
off my knee.
I just think of knee replacement because I don't know healthcare. That's like always the one that I think about.
It was called. I was. They considered it a spur removal, I guess, but it was actually like an extra bone growth.
Okay. Because I think with like anything, when we have, foreign objects and equipment in our body, there is that risk that we acknowledge that we could possibly need another surgery in our future.
Of course.
So I think it's nice to know, like, especially in the spinal fusion area of technology, that, although you may need another surgery, you also can take a little bit of that weight off, knowing that there's more innovation out there, that you're not gonna have that whole thing again. Maybe, I don't know. That's how I think of it for myself. I'm like, okay, if I ever did need this again, God forbid. some shit
Yes.
happens. Like, at least I know technology is just really paving the way. It's really, really cool to see and learn all this.
No, it's really neat, and it's always nice to see what's out there. And then also, like, as you're doing your podcast and people are asking, you can say, well, have you spoken to your doctor about this, and see if he provides that procedure. Now you have to also think like what doctors provide, what they're skilled at, what they're not skilled at, because there might be some things that a doctor can do, and the doctor may not have done that surgery yet, but if you feel it'd be more beneficial for you, he might be able to, like, to refer you to somebody that has done it. So it's really good to
Yeah,
have those conversations with your doctors and providers to see what can and cannot be done and what's best fit for you.
I agree. It's like, I don't know. And I hope, like, I don't know how you, I'm going to ask you this just because you work in healthcare. So how do you feel? Like, do you have a lot of like interactions? We work remote, but like with the doctors in your field because
No,
you're
not where I am.
protect.
I am
No,
security is very back end, so I'm
sure you're
not
back in the
client facing at
hell.
all. I'm not anything front end. So we deal with most of our clients, which are actually our nurses and front medical staff, and a lot of our software that we use that the healthcare folks log into are not providers, doctors, nurses, unit clerks. Actually, I'm lying. Nurses and unit clerks log into it, but providers don't log into it, like actual doctors, because it's more revenue cycle. In the hospital, that's your admit, discharge, and transfer application. That they have to move patients from room to room. They're discharging the
Okay.
patient. They're
Yeah.
admitting that patient. But mainly where I'm focused with everything is really the physician practice side. And we have hundreds of practices, like 900 and something practices. And that's mainly the registration, the scheduling front end of what the users are doing or the staff members are doing to make sure that you have a scheduled appointment for the doctor. You visit the doctor, you're registered at the front desk to then that you're registered for your appointment then be brought in back to see the doctor. So all our stuff is either a phone call, Teams messaging, and emailing. It's funny how we went from picking up a phone call to talk to your client to
Yeah.
working on AIM all day. And by AIM, I mean Teams. So
Yeah. It's
it's it's
really,
it's AIM's messaging all day. And I make more emojis than I've ever had in my life.
I know. I find that really cool too with like the remote world. Like, I never expected to have so much interaction and connection in a like remote world. So that's so funny that you say that, like all the emojis and shit, because it's so true. We do our best to like, make it like you're all together. So that's funny.
Yeah, it's fun. I love working remote. I think this has its pros and cons, but I have a lot of pros from it just because of a lifestyle change. It's been very nice.
Yeah,
So it's been very, and my team works great remotely, so I have no issues remote. Uh,
that's good.
but it's going good. So yeah, no,
Nice.
it's very cool. This is a pretty cool conversation so far. I'm enjoying this.
Me too. Actually, I'm coming up with an idea as we speak.
All right.
Yeah, but and there, what was I gonna say? Damn it, you said that, and my mind literally just,
For what?
I don't know.
I don't know what the hell I said. I said like
I
10
said,
things.
this is a great conversation. I like this. And I was like, yeah, me too. And then I was like,
Uh-huh.
wait, where was this? It's like, wait, I forgot.
Oh, that's funny.
It is
So
pretty
I
fun.
found so on the cyber side or on the tech side, it's not really cybersecurity. I mean, kind of is. There many places are starting to use and you blockchain using blockchain technology.
I love
Well,
blockchain.
yeah, so do I,
I
and
think it's
especially
so cool.
it's really neat. And I want to get more. I know of it. I know how it sort of works, but I'm not really deep into it. But what I thought one of the biggest and the key features of blockchain I love is immutable records. And the records, so you have a patient data that's on there, and you can't have specific data be altered unless the whole network agrees to it.
Agrees that it's true, right?
That is true, and that record should be updated. So blockchain is going to become an essential and integral part of uh, PHI or protected health information because we need to protect the integrity. We need to protect
Yeah.
the confidentiality of it, and want to make sure that it's only available to who it should be available to. So when you put it on the blockchain, if you're not part of that network and you're trying to get access to it, there's going to be a whole different security solution in there that is going to be completely different from our, I guess, what's that we're looking for? normal security
More
standards
normal
there,
security.
our conventional standards that
Okay,
we are
yeah.
today. This can make it better for storing those really deep medical records or protected medical records because you can't access unless you're on a network. You can't change unless the whole network agrees. So unless there's a way of, I don't know how to hack blockchain, don't know much of security around blockchain, but the whole concept around it is pretty cool. And the fact that it's decentralized means it's not stored in a single location. They're stored across like different network nodes. So even though you
Okay.
have all this information, parts of it, I guess, is stored in other areas, and then that make up that all those nodes make up that one patient file. So
That's
that makes
really
things
cool.
secure as well. Um, and then patient control. Like right now, patients get like they get their my chart
I feel like we
and
don't get,
you'll have it in
yeah,
control of your
Marchart. That's really it. You don't really get to do a lot besides kind of see what's happened or create your appointment, I feel.
right. But the nice thing about patient control, I guess having control of it, is that you, as a patient, you'll be able to actually revoke the access when it's no longer needed. Anybody, hey, we're done seeing each other. You're no longer my provider. I don't want you to have that access anymore. You can revoke it from those folks
Oh,
because right now you have your medical records that sit on 15 million different
forever.
servers across the nation, so
Shit.
that's easily
That's
hackable. So now it's like, hey, as a patient, no, you can't have that anymore. You and I don't need to talk anymore. I'm no longer your patient. You're no longer my doctor. I don't want you to have that access anymore.
or
And I
if like
think
you
that's
go,
awesome.
that's really cool because if you go for a consult, whether it be a therapist or seeing if you need spinal fusion surgery or you want to look for other, people who are qualified in like say your knee surgery, like you can share that information, see if you're a good fit, and then essentially take that shit away from them. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's huge.
That's
Um,
really, really cool.
yeah, I like that. So I thought that was pretty neat. I didn't really get to really read deep into it, but just skimming through it earlier and then when I was researching it and now it just seems a really cool way of storing your information and securing it. Um,
Yeah. And
so
feeling like
blockchain I
it's
think is a big
yours
thing.
instead of just,
Yeah.
because I've definitely thought of that with all my shit. I'm like, so people just have this forever?
Yeah, I have it forever,
Like,
which
just,
is
I don't know how I
a
feel about
big
that.
thing. I know.
Yeah. Like, I
Listen,
don't
I'm in
really
security
feel, yeah.
and
I feel like
I
it's
love the internet.
unnecessary to have it
It
forever,
is unnecessary.
to
I
have it
love
forever.
there's no reason for it. If you
Yeah.
think about it, there's all your data sitting in all these different databases all the time, all over the place, everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And all it takes is one fuck up from somebody. And the truth of the matter is, and the real truth is that most hacks aren't these sexy hacks that happen like, ooh, I'm gonna run this code behind my computer screen and
Right.
hack the free. It's literally a person behind the scenes of the computer, and their grandmother sent them a fucking card that was like, oh, happy birthday. Oh, my grandma sent me a birthday card. And
Right.
they
Like
click it,
phishing emails and
and
shit.
yeah, phishing emails are
Yeah.
like the biggest way that
Biggest
most
one.
companies get hacked. The largest way because I think the last I saw was like 80 or 90% way companies actually get hacked
Yeah.
is
We
because
had
an
a
email
big
comes in,
training module about phishing,
have to.
just so we're all like aware, like, hey,
Because that, not even just a scoliosis patient, it could be a cancer patient, it could be whatever the
yeah,
patient
it's
is, and
huge.
those PHI records are now stolen. And the going amount for a PHI, like a PHI or insurance thing, is millions of dollars.
Millions of
It's worth
dollars.
more than SSN these days. And fun topic, if you've been paying attention to the news and watching anything about cybersecurity, the national database was just hacked.
Hacked.
2.9 billion
Billion people.
had their social security number and private information stolen.
How do you know
So
if you're one of them? Do
you'll
they
get a notification
contact
in the
you
mail. You'll get a
at
notification.
least?
Yeah. Or you get
Okay.
a notification in the mail saying that you were hacked.
Oh
And
shit.
but you can do this few websites you can go to. Was I pwned or something like that? Have I been pwned? Was it have I been pwned? Yeah.
Like
Have I been
PONED?
pwned? Yeah, PWND. And you can type in your email. And that national database is going to have an email of some sorts of records. If you have multiple emails, have I been pwned? And you can actually go to that website, type in your email, and it will tell you what email what accounts have been affected and where you have been affected.
Like,
So it
have
should
I
have that.
been pwned?
Yeah.
PWNED?
Yes.
And it's blue when you come up there?
Yeah. Yep. And you type in your email
I,
address, and you can see. wherever you've had it. And right now, 14, what is that?
Uh-oh.
That's 14,115,116,543 accounts have been pwned or owned. Owned is just
In one
hacker.
data breach
I've been in multiple.
and no paste. What does that even mean? I don't even know what no paste mean. Whatever.
This
Well,
isn't. I don't
that's
think.
good.
I don't think this will show you like the national database. This will show you like websites, like
Yeah.
press in
Shit that
2019.
you've signed up for that just
Grizzly got hacked. Gemini got hacked. MyFitnessPal was hacked. Ticketfly. All these different websites got hacked. And it tells you, and at that point, you should reset your password. And make
yeah, I
sure
feel
there's
like I
something
changed that shit a
extremely
lot.
secure. So the biggest thing I can recommend that we have this national database that was hacked is freeze your credit reports. Change
What
all
was
your
it? What
freeze
was
your
the
credit
first?
reports. Freeze your credit
Read
reports.
them?
Freeze like ice. Freeze.
Freeze. Oh shit.
Freeze your credit
Oh
reports.
baby.
Yes. That's the biggest thing because you don't want the hackers because right now those social security numbers allegedly have been sold for like millions of dollars on the black market. So your social security number and your personal information is out there. Someone then it gets sold to somebody else, like a person who just is down on their luck, might be crossing the border, whatever the
Fucked
case is.
up.
So now they have
Oh,
your
now they
identity
have it.
and they can get
Okay.
a credit cards, pick out a car, get a house, depending on how good your credit score is. Because people, they do all these background checks, but somehow it's past
It
it.
gets through.
So, and now you own a freaking 2024 freaking Tesla. Like I didn't buy
I
one of those.
didn't
And
buy
now
that.
you have to fight that because you have to, I don't own that car. Where would I own that car?
Like,
So
where is it? Show me it. I'm
freeze,
like,
freeze your credit
so
report.
what you're telling me is the only time I'll be worth $1 million is if my
Yes. Hold on one second. I'm gonna take this call really quick.
go for it.
Sorry.
You're good.
I don't want to be rude and not answer.
That's okay, Tom. I don't mind.
That'd be mean. I don't like doing that to Liz. Like I always answer her calls.
I always answer Thunder. You're fine.
Like that's my woman. I
I'm
can't.
like, that's my babe. I can't
My
not
babe.
answer them.
Like
I
her and
answer the call.
her and my kids are like the only three people, like, or maybe mom and dad too, that I will just
Yeah, mom and dad
drop.
too.
But like everyone else, sorry, you got to wait until I'm done with this podcast. Or that.
Yeah.
But those like five people or seven, my two sisters, normally it's like I don't know, something's going because it's very rare that like
Stop it. I'm included.
yeah, it's like it's very rare that Devin or you actually call me. So if you're calling me, it's like, oh
Yeah.
shit, what's going on?
Yeah. Or like
So that's why
I need my bro.
yeah, so that's why it's like those seven people like everything gets paused.
I agree.
And
Those are all the
so
people in my favorites because
yes.
I can't miss phone calls anymore. I used to put my phone on do not disturb. I think it was after Mr. Rick died. I was like, I have to create a favorites contact so my phone rings at all times for these
Yeah.
certain people because life hits the shit. So you gotta, I don't know.
Life happens.
Yeah. I feel like we
So,
both have like phone call trauma in our lives, and I feel like that's why we always answer the most important
yeah.
people.
It's
At
just
least like
yeah.
that's where I come from. I'm like, I
No,
need to know.
it's just important. Like she called me this morning and she was getting stung by bees. And she was just flipping out and she just wanted that emotional support. So of
Oh,
course I pick it up. I'm like, of course I'm just
yeah,
there to listen to her and then, what she's going through is because that's important.
it
That's your
is.
person. So
It is.
regardless, I'm always there for her.
Well, I think that's important. I think everybody should have people in their lives who do that for them.
Yes.
I
So
have a fun game.
a game.
Yeah. I
Okay.
did this once on my podcast, and now that I have you, we'll see how you do.
Oh man. I'm not good at quizzes.
It's myth or fact.
Okay.
Scoliosis edition. Okay. We're gonna see how
Okay.
you do.
I'm gonna fail.
Okay. No, you should be good. This is ChatGPT. So I was like, make a fun game of
I
myth
love
or
it.
fact,
I love it.
scoliosis.
This is amazing.
So, myth or fact, scoliosis is caused by carrying heavy backpacks.
That's a myth.
Yeah, I'm glad you
You
got
can be born with that.
that. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Exercise can help manage scoliosis symptoms.
I'm gonna say fact because exercise, you won't be very surprised how much exercise is more mental than it is physical, and the amount of it doesn't heal, but helps reduce symptoms of so many things.
Yes, it
Exercising, if you're
does.
having a mental breakdown, anxiety attack, whatever the case might be, go for a walk, do some
Yep.
push-ups. It will reduce your cortisol levels, which is like the most important thing to reduce. So exercising is truly important.
So important. And if anyone is telling you out there, for any listeners, that you should never move or not do a single thing with scoliosis, find a new doctor.
Yes,
Um,
that's horrible. Moving is so important in
it's
life.
so
It's
important.
so important in life. Moving, listen, rest when you're dead, because
Yeah.
life is long. Don't be lazy.
Don't be lazy. And just a little tip there for my listeners with the curve. Also actually find like someone who understands your curve and do scoliosis
Yes.
specific exercises, because those can help again manage symptoms, and like the Schroth method can actually help to decrease curvatures. So it won't cure all, but it's definitely been shown to help us. So
There you go.
don't listen to people who say not to exercise.
No, always exercise. I don't care what, just exercise. Even if you're going walk, just 5 minutes of exercise.
Hmm.
Micro exercising is important too. Sorry, I'm gonna get a whole exercise field. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you can go. You go for it.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Because I'll take go.
We can do another episode on exercise.
Yes, because I'm all big about movement.
I know you are. All right. All right. Myth or fact, scoliosis can be genetic.
Well, grandma had it, so I'm gonna say fact.
Yeah, it is true. We don't know. I can't. I think now that I know mom has scoliosis too, because I'd had
Yeah,
no idea. I think I might have been genetic scoliosis. I think we definitely have it genetically, because I think grandma had kyphoscoliosis, is actually
that.
when, just learned this thanks to my amazing guest who has this. She curves forward and
Oh,
sideways.
oh
So that's
wow.
why um not all of us have a hunchback, or like our curves look so different because we all curve in different ways. But like a lot of people are like, oh, scoliosis is when you like go forward and it's like so severe. But that's actually like a very specific type of scoliosis where the spine is actually able to bend on both planes, which I did not know that. I thought that was
Wow. I
pretty
didn't
cool.
know that. I'm learning so much cool stuff.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And yes, it can be genetic. Genetic.
Genetic.
Oh, okay. Scoliosis is more common in men.
I'm gonna say myth because I don't know any men that have it.
You're doing great. So no, scoliosis does affect our homies, the men, but it is more common in women.
Okay.
Very good there. All right, let's see which other ones I like. Okay, physical therapy can prevent scoliosis.
I don't think it can prevent, but it can definitely help.
Yeah. Are you so good at this? This bull crap. I mean, I'm happy that you're so good at it. All right, last one. Scoliosis can worsen after adolescence. Myth or fact?
It can worsen after adolescence. So after you become after, I guess if it's not treated properly, a fact.
No, it is a fact, because you can get diagnosed with way worse scoliosis as you get older. And just because you are done growing does not mean that your curve will not increase, which
Oh
is
no.
fun. I found that out the hard way, and that's why I had surgery at 25. Three
Wow.
doctors told me my curve was done because I hit puberty. And three
What?
doctors told me that I would need spinal fusion in the future. And all you can do is make the best decision for yourself, people, and then deal with the cards as they come. So,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah. So, see, sometimes even when you get that second opinion, you choose the wrong one, I guess. Not wrong one, but the one that feels good to you at the
One that
time in
feels
your
good to
life.
you. Yeah.
Because I was 18 and graduation and prom, and I was just like, no, no. I gave up rugby. I can't give up my whole life afterwards. I just wasn't
Yeah,
ready.
no, you weren't ready for it.
And I really didn't think it would get worse. So here we are now.
All right. Hey, you did the best you could do for yourself, and that's what counts.
That's
At
true.
the end, you got your surgery and you're living your best life now.
Yeah, in way less pain. So
Exactly.
that's definitely grateful. Yeah, this is
My
so much
first,
fun.
that was fun. I got 100. Yay.
You did so good. I was like, shit. Very cool, very cool. You want to do I mean, you could do it really quick. It was fast. You could do it chat GPT for security. I'll probably get all of them wrong. Fair chance there.
I can do off the top of my head. So
Gotcha.
I guess the difference in security, okay. I don't know. What can I give you on a security one?
Ah, all right. I don't know much. I guess. I don't know.
Um, I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
That's fine. Or just say whatever comes to mind.
I should be able to, but I just
I
can't think of anything
hear
off the top of my head.
thunder
Like
playing.
I'm trying to think of like something
Fallout.
that won't be like I love Fallout. Fallout's a great game.
It is fun, but the roaches are too
Question.
big for
Oh,
my
gross. I hate
liking in the
roaches.
game. I'm like,
They're
ew.
like that big by like that. Oh,
Yeah, it's
so
fucked
gross.
up. It's gross. I
Ground
hope
roaches.
I want to die before roaches ever get that big. I will not be shooting them with rifles. Just saying, if that ever happened in real life, I don't want to fight bugs the size of look. No.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. So I don't know if they're myth or fact. Myth or fact questions.
I guess. Oh, how about like things that common things that you know that are true that a lot of people have a conception with because they're not in security. But I'd probably get
Okay.
all these wrong.
So
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 yeah.
so here's a good one. Using a strong password alone is enough to keep your account protected.
I'm gonna go with
True or false?
true. I try really hard with my passwords.
Very false, actually.
What
Uh,
else do I need to do?
so there's something called multi-factor authentication or 2FA, dual factor authentication, or also known as two-factor authentication. And
Oh,
that
feels
is
heavy.
so this is called layer defense, but it's also having something you know, which is your password, and having something and then something you have, which will be your phone. And that will be you type in your password, and then you can use like Google Authenticator. It says, all right, now provide me that code that pops up on your screen. And you gotta type in that code. So
Oh,
now you type
okay.
password and then you type in the code that lasts about 60 seconds. You have to type it in. So if you don't have the phone, even though you type in the password, you can't access the account. Something you know, something you have. That can also be something you have or something you are. Something you are is your biometrics. So if you're like when you log into your phone, you use your thumbprint. So that's something you are. That's multi-factor.
Wow, now I know what biometrics mean. I read that a lot at work. We have a whole biometrics team. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, it's biometrics. Something you know, something you are. So
Some
if you
you
ever see
are.
like
Wow, very
2FA or
cool.
MFA, that they're talking about like having some type of dual authentication access. And if you see you see multi-factor, it could be your password, it could then be the Google Authenticator or whatever authenticate app you use, and then your thumbprint. That's
Okay.
multi-factor. They might have all three: something you know, something you have, something you are, just for that extra layer of defense before
Of
you can actually get
defense.
into the account. Yeah. Um,
Well, I have that, just so you know. Be proud of me.
Good.
I have that with all
Everyone
my
should have that.
accounts. I
Everyone
damn
should
it, I should have got
100%
this
have.
right.
That's all
I feel
right.
like I should have got that right.
How about us going to any type of restaurant that has a public Wi-Fi? It's safe as long as that public Wi-Fi is password protected.
Now I never log on to public Wi-Fi. I think it's sketchy.
It is sketchy. 100%. 100% sketchy. You should always use a VPN. So if you're gonna go into Starbucks and sit down and go on to your like Bank of America Chase account, you should 100% always use a VPN, which stands for Virtual Private Network. You can use something like OpenVPN.com, NordVPN, things like that, which are just some of them are free. Some of you got to pay a monthly fee for, but they allow you
Okay.
to encrypt your data. So consider it like this is your data going over the wire, clear and free. Anyone can view it on that Wi-Fi. When you encrypt it, kind of shields it. So now when you're going across, no one can see into it. Kind of puts that encryption over it.
That's really
Masks it.
cool. I didn't,
So
I mean, like the reasons why I'm familiar with all this shit now is because I work remotely now and
yeah,
have like a VPN when I go into work. But what I didn't realize and what other people may not realize is that is open to us wherever we are. I just don't log on or do those things when I'm in public settings. But if you do those things, now you know that you have free resources to protect you while you're
yeah.
out on that
They're not
Wi-Fi
all
because
free. I don't want to say they're free,
they're
but
not all free, but
not all
there
free.
are options because I didn't
There are
know that was a
options.
thing. I don't
Nope.
go into that.
Definitely VPN because there's something called a man in the middle attack, which is you're browsing the internet. Here you are browsing the internet, doing your own thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to check on my bank account. You're on the Starbucks Wi-Fi, and then somewhere in the middle there, there's a person sitting there, unbeknownst to you, that is behind you, hacking the Wi-Fi and seeing all the packets and data that's going across. And just by the way, oh, when logged into their Chase account, oh, I got to use my password. Let me go to
Wow.
chase.com and type into it, and log into it. So wherever you are, whether it be an airport, Starbucks, a Dunkin' Donuts, no matter where you are that has free Wi-Fi, you should not be doing anything that is completely confidential. You should always use a VPN to keep yourself protected. Always.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Fun.
Glad that I really didn't know that. Like I wouldn't have thought like, oh, okay, let me, I didn't know that was an option if
Yeah,
in
it's an
case like
option,
you really
100%.
needed to like look at your bank account or really needed to look at your um shit like that. So that's really cool.
Yeah,
I
it's good
like that.
information. So, um, I'll do
I'm pissed because my question went away. I had a really good
another
question for
question.
you. I'll wait for it to come back. If it does, I'm sure I'll blurt it out and interrupt you at some point. But
So,
damn it.
I'm trying to think of one. Let me just ping GPT. Hold on, because I'm trying to think of these off the top of my head, and let me just
Yeah, no, I did myth or facts using that too.
oops. Myth or fact, cyber
Security.
security questions. All right, let's see what you got. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, here we go. This is a good one. Cybersecurity is only the responsibility of the IT department. Myth or fact?
I think a lot of people believe that this is a fact, but because you're my brother, I know that this is a myth.
It's a myth. Yes, 100% myth. It is. So it's as corny as it is, security, and a lot of companies will go, "You are the you in security," because
Yeah,
without
it's
you
true.
can't secure. So it's no different if you're in the airport and you see something, you should be saying something. If
Yep.
you're getting an email that's suspicious, you should be saying something, not clicking on it. Because that's like one of the
Mm,
things that will allow a hacker to get in. So your responsibility as a user of the organization is to be vigilant and just have we don't need you to code applications or understand cybersecurity from, what we understand it from. We just need you to understand that there are nefarious people who are trying to get our data, who want to make our lives harder and want to steal as much data as they can to sell it for the highest bidder. So your job as a front desk, as a cashier, whatever your role is whatever your role is in any company, is just to be understanding that there are policies and procedures set in place at a security level to protect us. And yes, security training is boring. I get it. I do it every year, and I'm like, I'm in security. Why the fuck am I doing this? And it's boring, but I get it. But that the biggest thing, our biggest and most trusted defense against anything security, doesn't matter how many millions of dollars I spend on equipment, if the hacker can get through with a link in an email. It's
that's
education.
wild. It is
Education.
education.
it's the most valuable defense
I feel
because
like it's so important and people don't think, I don't know, especially with the world changing right now, with the AI coming in, like just all this shit, technology is really, really coming. I just feel like people need to get more educated, even if it's something. I think education is just important, even if it's not something that you're passionate about or that you want to do. It's just important because it affects you every day. We're at the point where technology is running the world. So you need to protect yourself and help the people who are trying to protect you every day by doing your due diligence. So I agree. I think that's really, really important,
it's very
especially in
important.
the years to come, because there's going to be a lot of good shit,
It's a
fishy,
lot of good
good
shit.
look, and it's going to be harder to decide if it looks like a fish email or not. So definitely get ahead of the
Well,
game.
you're hitting the right spot because AI phishing emails are already pretty sophisticated, but there were a lot of mistakes. Now with the advent of AI becoming public,
Mm-hmm.
hackers really have the use to use something like GPT or Perplexity or
Yep.
Claude 3 to devise these crazy emails that are pinpointed directly, and then they drop their link in it that brings you to a site that's full of malware. And as soon as you click that site, it can start remotely installing applications. And once they have access to your computer and whatever they can do whatever the hell they want. And
I know.
and
It's
the
so
funny thing
scary.
is, well, not even funny. The crazy thing is that most companies won't realize they've been hacked until weeks,
Till too
maybe
late.
months later,
Yeah.
and it's the damage is already done. And it's not even from a financial standpoint. When a company's hacked, it's reputation. I trusted you to
Yeah.
protect my data. Well, it's like, I'm sorry. And, it's like, oh, we'll give you free credit monitoring. Okay, you free credit monitoring. But the damage has already been done.
Yeah.
Like
Like,
my
how do you
data is
come
out
back from
there.
that? And it
Yeah.
sucks
So
because
it's,
a lot of the people, like, a lot of people I feel like are becoming entrepreneurs and are going on this path of like trying to find their own way and creating their passions into a livelihood. So it's really even more scarier now because now we're not talking like huge, big corporations. We're talking about people who have made it now, like, and then building back that brand, whether it be big or not. Like, that's scary because,
yeah, it is. Oh, 100%.
people put their
So,
whole life into a company and then turn around and get hacked. And it's like, ah. So
yeah.
it's
So
definitely.
I'll give one more. I'm gonna give one more. Regularly updating your software is one of the best ways to protect against cyber threats.
Yeah, like not ignoring that you need an update. I think that's
Yes.
pretty important. So I'm
Yeah.
going to go with that's a fact.
That's a huge fact.
Okay.
People will ignore their updates, and when you ignore updates, people Windows doesn't regularly release updates to annoy the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Windows regular releases updates because when they release updates, it's possibility that there's a issue somewhere in the code that needs to be patched or updated because it has a vulnerability. And the vulnerability, if
Mm.
left unpatched, can wreak havoc. And at your home PC, it's very different. It's very different. You just reboot the PC, boom, patches. At a
Yeah.
corporate enterprise, you can't do that. There are so many things that are happening with that patch. So usually you have to throw it into a test environment, test it, try it, make sure it doesn't break your most important production applications because of this patch before you can actually do it. And sometimes if you can't, there's workarounds. But yes, patching your software is extremely important. And that can be, and that doesn't mean just Windows updates. That means everything and anything you install on your computer or your phone. Phones, every time your
Yeah.
phones have an
Phones.
update it because it's maybe less known to people who will walk around with devices in their pocket. But oh, I have a smartphone. It's a computer. It's running an operating system that receives updates on the monthly, daily, whatever the case. And there are applications out there that could potentially become vulnerable. And if you're not
So true.
updating it regularly, it could potentially be hacked. So always update your software, keep yourself protected
So true.
for sure.
That's so true. Because your phone, I feel like, unfortunately, I feel like everybody who gets an update is like, oh, fuck, this is going to ruin everything. And I don't know when that stigma came around, but it
Windows.
definitely is a stigma.
No, it
And
is, and I agree.
I'm
I
breaking
agree.
myself out of that because now I'm behind the scenes at a job that needs a lot of protection. And then obviously like growing
Yeah,
up as your like sister and like all the education you have with security and shit. But I feel like a lot of people have that stigma around it. So just update your shit.
Now I have to. Like it's
It's
like, oh, I gotta do
important.
an update. I'm like, yeah, you gotta need to do a fucking
I know
update.
we always complain about it, or like I get a notification, been changed in 90 days. I'm like, oh my god, fuck off.
Yeah. Or your password. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so
It used to
bad.
be,
I'm like, how many more exclamation points at the end of this can I add?
stop that. Do not do that. It's the worst thing you can do. Stop
I
reusing
know.
passwords.
But a lot of the time in an organization, in an org, and then you have these password updates. That's what a lot of people talk about. I'm like, no, you have to do the good
No, it's the
pass.
worst
I
thing.
have great
Well,
passwords. I'm pretty proud of my passwords. You taught
good.
me how to be good passwords.
I recommend the new thing. What I recommend doing, what I do with my passwords is I do like I almost make sentences. Like I will do dogs dash tennis dash court cakes eating dash eating. Now I have like a 25 character password that has special characters in there. And then, you might replace the dog with the dog, the O with a zero, a cake with the at sign. Just make it a little bit more secure. But it's
Yeah.
words that you can remember. And between each word is just a dash.
Yeah.
Actually very and
Because it
that
takes
adds a
longer
lot.
to solve, correct? Is that the
It takes
point of
longer
it?
to
The
well, the
hack?
thing is that to hack because there's one, it's this really long. Yes, it takes longer to hack. Most hackers will do something called brute force, which is a brute force attack, which is just trying different passwords over and over and over again that are in a dictionary list. It's like a dictionary attack or brute force attack that will either go through a list or just try to brute force that password using different type of algorithms. And it can take years to do that, depending on how long your password is. A 25 character password literally can take years. Well before we actually get into it, I'll be dead before they actually break into it, finding that
Yeah.
combination. So it's very, very important. But it also doesn't matter how good your password protected is if the database isn't encrypted. Back to encryption. So
Ah.
VPN is encryption data in transit. You're encrypting your data in motion. But database, which is data that's being stored somewhere, is data at rest. So if they're not encrypting that or hashing that table, doesn't matter. I can log into it and go, oh, look, I got everyone's username and password. So now it's on
Oh,
the
now it's on
IT
that.
side going, making sure the database is encrypted correctly, while it's on your side to make sure the hackers can't use some type of brute force attack to just guess a I love my mom 22. So
Love that. That's so funny. If that's your password, change it.
if that's your password, please change it.
Please change it.
Luckily at
Love
work,
your mom, but just change your password.
yes. Luckily at like corporations, they have password complexities and policies that you
Yeah.
can't use passwords like that. They usually have something that's like must have capital, number, and special
Number.
character.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely do. I feel like they've
So
gotten like this is
they
mandatory
have to.
now because they can't deal with all these exclamation points.
Well, it's crazy because you figure back in the night when the internet was first around, was like what was it first born like the 1950s? Like DARPA was actually using it, and when it
Yeah, like
finally
really long time.
exploded to the public, and here we are, and security has always been an afterthought. Has oh yeah, we'll put that in later, and
Yeah, we just
now yeah
expect. I
yeah we'll
think
put that
I
in
think you
later.
just expect shit. It's so
Yes,
bad.
we
It's
expect
like,
shit,
well,
but
all this should work for me. I don't have
yeah.
to do any.
Well, well, yeah, but now here we are, and you always had like dev ops, like the development ops, and now you have some with another broad term of it called DevSecOps, which is development security operations. And you have security that is baked into everything from the start. So you can't get an application or software or project without
Oh,
security
okay.
reviewing it because security has to be baked in
Has to
because
do it.
for so many years it's been an afterthought. Oh, we'll patch that in later. We'll secure that later. And then secure in later should have been securing it yesterday because you were hacked and lost all your
You're
data.
already hacked. Wow.
No,
That's crazy. That's an afterthought because I feel like it's so
used to be the
important.
biggest
But
afterthought, but it wasn't. It wasn't until until breaches started happening, and people were like, "Wait, shit, we got to do something about this."
shit, we have to do this. Yeah. And
So
it's like anything that starts smaller, it needs less protection. Then as it grows and becomes more known and more people start to use it.
yeah, you had the guy, I forgot his name. Gosh, I'm having a brain fart.
It's the worst. I say
Kevin?
that all the time.
Was
Happens
it
all the time.
Kevin? Yeah, Kevin Mitnick. I was right. Yeah, Kevin Mitnick, who's like probably one of the most profound hackers in the world.
Oh, okay.
Like
I'm like, I have no
he
idea what that
was
is.
he was amazing. He actually just died last year, but
Oh,
he had a He was in what, 5 years in prison back in '95 because of whatever data he hacked into and stole. Like he was like one of the biggest hackers, and that became a big cybersecurity consultant.
Wow,
To help, and yeah, spun his whole life around. But he was
that's awesome.
hacker to be.
I need
So
to
he
look
was
into him.
extremely
I had
smart.
no
Yeah,
idea
very
who that
cool.
is.
Kevin David Mitnick. He just died last year in July.
No.
So he actually wrote some really good books. Um, he's a really good hacker. Very cool.
Hmm, very cool. Well,
How long have you been
ah,
doing this now?
a bit. So I was gonna say I was gonna end on this note here. I was gonna ask you something. Um, we talked a lot today about cybersecurity, scoliosis, technology, all that shit, all that good stuff. And just wanting to kind of give you a moment to why should people come to your page? What does Full Data Alchemist have to provide for anybody? And what are you trying to do with what you're doing on your content and your brand and all that?
So, good question. So, full data is about educating cybersecurity, educating how to code like Python. I'm a big Python advocate. I love Python, and it's anybody can get into it with the right mindset, the right positivity, the right approach to it. Especially with AI, there is no reason why no one can get into programming, cybersecurity. And my biggest thing I want to do, especially from like a family standpoint, is to teach cybersecurity. I think one of our most vulnerable people in technology are children, are our kids. I look at my kids who are 14 and 11, and they're on their devices all the time. And
Yeah,
as a parent, you hand them the world in their pocket. They can literally do anything and everything, talk to anyone and anybody that could be pretending to be a 12-year-old, and you don't know it. So my biggest thing with Full Data Alchemist is just to educate and help people understand that yeah, security can make your life harder, but without it, it can devastate your life.
yeah,
So it's extremely important to understand how security works, why we're pushing for it, how come we have all these crazy policies and complexities in place, because our world's complex, our internet's complex, and our most important people are our, kids that we have to
yeah,
protect. No, it's so quick for them nowadays to have their bubble burst where in the 1990s, we didn't have the internet. We read books, we played video games that didn't burst any bubbles. Now it's like strictly one character change and they're at pornhub.com. And it's like, whoa, what is this?
yeah.
So and who knows what their friends are sending them. So it's extremely important to understand security, what parental settings are there for you to help guide you and not take away their freedoms, but be sort of like a little brother and see what they're doing, when they're doing it, what they're accessing it to really make and keep them safe. I'm very passionate about this because
I know, I can tell. I love it.
it's just and it's something I'm trying to, put out there more. And I've just been slow on getting the content out,
That's
but
okay.
it's something
We're
I truly
human.
believe in. Something I truly believe in. I really believe that protecting our kids is one, you decide to put the P to the V, so you gotta protect your children.
Yep,
And whether it was an accident,
100%.
it wasn't expected, whatever. No, it's a very like raw comment, but at the end of the day, there's a child that was born. Our responsibility and duty to that child is to protect them and take care of them the best way that we can. And that means, and for me, when they're old enough and they start getting devices in their hands and literally giving the world to them, you gotta lock it down. And
Yep.
it's not taking away their freedoms. You're not being a dictator. You're being a responsible parent. That's what full data is about. The other side of full data is I like to game and just have fun on stream and do stupid shit like one chip challenges. Um, that's full data. Mainly focusing on cybersecurity and spiritual alchemy. So if you're
Yes.
into like spiritualism, want to learn about like what spiritual alchemy is, I talk about that on my streams, some of my YouTube videos. I blog a lot about it on my website, fulldataalchemist.com. And you can find me anywhere across the whole world, wide web, Full Data Alchemist. That's me.
Awesome. Well, I love it. I love this episode. And I'll just end it by saying you all know where you can find me, the Twisted Wanderer, on Instagram, thetwistedwanderer.com, also on YouTube, also on YouTube. Also on TikTok, still trying to figure that shit out, but you can find me.
TikTok's
Um,
great.
it's fun. Goal here is to just spread awareness on scoliosis and spinal fusion surgery, hoping to, get that isolation feeling a little sooner than later. So you know that you have people and have someone like myself and a bunch of people in the scoliosis and spinal fusion community who have been where you are, and we are here to support you, and also just trying to spread awareness for mental health, anxiety,
It's huge.
depression, trauma. Had a lot in my life, so just really lifestyle, talking about anything and anything that I can to help anyone who have gone through the same things. But thank you all for listening, hanging out with me and my bro, Full Data
That was
Alchemist.
fun.
It was such a fun episode, Tom. We have to do this again. I feel like we
Uh,
have so much fun with this shit.
yeah, we
So
do. It's a good time.
I cannot wait. I don't know when this will be dropping, but again, Full Data Alchemist, the Twisted Wanderer. We will see you guys soon. Have a good
Wow.
one.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.